Hey YouTubers, this is Jason. In this video tutorial, we're actually going to create our own little program real quick, a calculator. And while we're doing that, we're going to learn some new things, but nothing really new, like a new if statement or something. And so just to start, we're going to need to get input. So we're going to do scanner x equals new scanner system.in, which is just used to scan through the input, kind of. So now, our program, when we open it, it's going to say, hey, do you want to add, subtract, minus, times, divide, whatever? I said subtract twice, minus and time. Yeah, sorry. So, just to do that, we're just going to print. We're going to be like, what do you want to do? See, so we're just going to ask them, what do they want to do? And then we're going to give them some options. So we're actually going to do this. And so here's some of that new stuff. Basically, this is an enter, or a next line, or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to do this. T. This is a tab, and we can basically just kind of use this type of a thing to present a menu. So, kind of. Add to subtract. So we're just going to go through everything they can do with our calculator and add a option for that. Times, and we're just going to do divide. Divide. Okay, so there we go. Now when we run this, we get this, and I forgot to add something. Basically, you could do this with like 5 system.out.print lines, but I didn't. So now you can kind of see here, it kind of shows you what it looks like a little bit. So you can't quite see all of this. There you go. It says, what do you want to do? Do you want to add, subtract, times, or divide? And I probably should say multiply. So there we go. That's that. That's pretty basic. And then the next thing we need to do is, now they're going to type a number, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we're just going to store that number, and then see what, and then do that. So, whoops, one sec. So here's the biggest new thing in this tutorial, is a switch case. And basically, it's supposed to be a fancy if statement. Break. Kind of. So, we could do switch x.nextInt. Okay, so we did switch x.nextInt. And now we can say case. So basically, a switch is like an if statement, in terms of format, but what goes inside the parentheses is a number or a character or a string or something. But just a variable goes in there. And then basically when you say case, it's if this, what's in the parentheses, equals 1, then we're going to do this. So you need a colon here, and then the break gets out of this case. So it's supposed to be easier than a bunch of if statements. So case for. So now we have a case for everything they can do. So if they say add, then we're going to system.out.print. Or how are we going to do this? Well, we'll start with adding. Okay, so we're going to be like system.out.println. What is number 1? And we're actually going to do this because for everything we do, we're going to need 2 numbers, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say int op, which is operation, equals x.nextInt. Okay. Then we're going to say, we're going to change this to op. And now in here, we're going to be like, hey, what's number 1? And we're actually going to do first number. And instead of a print line, we're going to do a print. And then we're going to say, so here's another new thing. You can actually do int and then a variable initialization comma another variable initialization, and you can do that for the same variable types. Num1 equals x.nextInt, and then just copy this and say second number, and then we just say num2. So now basically what it does is it says, hey, what do you want to do? It stores what they wanted to do, the number they type is the operation, and then they say first number, second number, and then now we come down here to we actually do the math down here. So we're going to system.out.println we're basically just going to print the answer. So we'll do num1 plus num2. We can copy this and paste it for everyone, and then just change it to minus, times, and divide. And now if you notice, we say, hey, what do you want to do? I want to add, and we're actually going to just move this on top. So we're going to be like, what's the first number? It's 56. What's the second number? That. And it added them. And then if we were to run this again, we could do subtract. 50, 25 equals 25. If we run it again, we want to divide or multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. And for 25, 5. And see, there you go. It worked. So that's how we did that. Let's get this back up on top. There we go. No. There we go. So, okay, so that's how that works. Now we're going to come down here and, really that's it with all that stuff. But just to go over some new, all the stuff, as I said earlier, if you have an integer like op, for example, you can do things like plus equals 1, which would add to it, plus, which just adds 1, and then there's all that stuff. We also have, let's say I wanted to system.out.println, and I wanted to say, hey buddy, this guy said this. So you would want quotes. So he said hi. But the problem is Java thinks this is a string, and this is a string, and this is code. We need to tell Java to ignore these quotes as ending our string. So what you can do is, you remember how earlier we did /n and /t? Well, if you do /quote, it ignores what quotes do. So slashes kind of are just special. They say, hey, the next thing is not going to do what it normally does. So an n becomes an enter, a t becomes a tab, a quote becomes just a normal quote instead of something that ends a string. And if you wanted to, for example, say a file location, and just to demonstrate, if you look here, it says he said hi. So the quotes worked. It ignores these go away because they're making those normal. But let's say we wanted to have a file location, so let's get rid of all this stuff. C program files AFDF. So now if you notice, when we print this out, it says it like that. So if you wanted to use one of these as a normal thing, if we just did /p, then we get an error, because it's like, whoa, p isn't special, what are you doing? So you have to have two. One, the first one's like, okay, we're gonna go away and say that the next one's normal, and that's how that works. So that's how those things works. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're probably gonna go over arrays. I haven't really planned out the next one yet, but yeah, so I'll see you guys next time.